Well, hey there. Here's from the Ope-Eh three-way here with Brandon, Donnie, as always. A special guest, Adam Wilbourn from Whatculture Wrestling. Hell yeah. I just bought this man a beer.
Cheers, yes. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
We're here, post night 2 on Mania. We're going to give quick hits, thoughts, have a good time. So Adam, what do you think?
I enjoyed it, but then again, I always enjoy, being at WrestleMania. We're very lucky to be able to come out here and enjoy this. The thing, I thought night 2 kind of blew night 1 out of the water. Generally, main event-wise, I thought night 1's main event was just sensational. I love all 3 guys. I've been fighting for them in terms of defending them. They should have been in the main event. I know there was a reason about whether or not that should have happened or not.
So my personal favorite wrestler of all time is CM Punk.
Yes.
So I was ready to see Punk get his main event.
Yeah.
Roman is Roman. Seth has earned way more than 2, technically 3 main events.
Yeah.
And they showed up and showed out. That stole the show as the main event.
Yeah, there was a little bit of concern for me. I enjoyed Jay and Gunther. I know something wasn't necessarily for everybody. I was just happy that.
He's been on the Hey Jay train.
Oh, hey there.
Oh, hey there.
This is the part where they throw me under the bus. No, okay.
I get it. Look, I understand Jay Uso's not very well, and I will caveat this by saying I think Jay Uso beating Gunther was the right call. However, I don't think Jay Uso holds that title for more than maybe a month. Like, genuinely, I believe you'd easily see Drew McIntyre taking that from him.
Shout out Braun Breaker.
Yeah,
I think that's the setup
you're
there.
split with Drew. You've got Drew, you've got Braun, and you've obviously got Seth Rollins going forward.
Yep.
Take that title.
Absolutely.
So maybe he even loses it as soon as Backlash. I understand people weren't a fan of it, but like I was so into all of that. The fans got me going for that.
How can you not be invested in a moment like that?
Yeah.
As much as like whether you're pro Jay, anti Jay, pro Gunther, whatever, like that was true sports entertainment.
And I'm gonna go to bat for the finish one because I know that wasn't for everyone. I know the whole tap out thing wasn't for everyone. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. Look, I understand. I will say this. I was sat right next to Simon Miller and I was talking to him about this. The rear naked choke is Gunther's weakness. Ilya Dragunov got him with that when they were true. The only one was choke about. Yeah, and also I'm a bit of a fan of the UFC as well. And I remember watching Amanda Nunes a while back. She was in, I'm struggling to remember who she was facing.
Juliana.
Thank you. Juliana Pena got a choke on her. It was not in. That was not a done deal for that match. But mentally, she knew she was in trouble. She tapped. Subsequently, obviously, she won it back. I don't know whether that happens with Gunther and Jay, obviously.
And I'll give you one more. Gunther had taken 5 straight shots to the gut. He took a power bomb, he took a spear, 3 straight splashes. In kayfabe terms, he's not going to be able to breathe that well.
Exactly.
So, if you want to say he tapped too fast, sure. It makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. But look, I understand people weren't best pleased with the majority of night 1's card, but I thought the main event was completely raised up to a whole new level. Like the entrance has got me going, I'll be perfectly honest.
I thought, in my mind, this fire burn was going to happen from Seth coming out.
Yes, that's a good shout. But like him, flamethrower, transformation into the white, Rome with the white boots and that amazing, like that. I didn't realise they could lower those screens.
We were talking about this yesterday. We were in like the riser seats in the 100 area, and we're like, why didn't they do that the whole night?
But then again, it made it more special. Him literally walking through the bloodline. I think Ample pointed that out to me. And that amazing entrance, and then obviously I can see Ample, not just the history of him and Paul Heyman, but living for the making that entrance. And I thought that it's not for everyone again. It's one of those things of like, yes, it's finish is spamming. Yes, it's the melodrama. But it depends what you want from your wrestling. I get it. If you want just wrestling, that wouldn't be for you. I'm a Paul Heyman guy. I like melodrama.
So that's where I'm going into that really quick. Sorry, don't mind me, Brandon.
Absolutely not.
Talking about like the sports entertainment moment. Obviously, we had the triple threat on night 1. What was your favorite pure graps wrestling moment of the 2 nights?
Opener night 2, like Io, Bianca, Rhea absolutely killed it.
I'll agree to that one.
I think that's one of. I saw like discussion online, like one of the best Mania openers we've had in a long time. Like I love those 3 girls. I've said this throughout the build to this. I thought the build has been terrible. I thought it was really obvious what they needed to do. You You know, Rhea drops the title to Io, and Bianca wins the chamber. All you need to do is empower Io. Io says, I will fight both of these girls, I don't care, because as we saw, she's awesome. They mess it up by having like Rhea complaining about it, and Adam Pearce having to be like, oh, well, you can't just sign this contract. Just have her say, I'll fight both
it's
of
happened
them.
before, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Just have a fight both of them, and then we saw on the night, disregard whatever happened in the build, those three are some of the best female pro wrestlers, not even female, pro wrestlers in the world. They killed it, and my pick was Bianca Belair because I thought they weren't going to end the undefeated streak.
That's where I was at too, with a heel turn maybe twisted in there too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, don't bet against Io Sky. She is awesome, man. Like, in
all
terms of
three women are absolutely phenomenal.
When we did our prediction show, like they were talking about Bianca and Rhea, and I kind of was like, Io Sky. Guys, like, you want to get this over quick? And I was like, no. It's like the build. You are discounting the fucking champion.
Yeah, it's difficult to draw a comparison to it for obvious reasons, but like we were talking about in the weeks and months leading up to it, the whole thing of like there's echoes of HBK, Triple H, and Chris Benoit. They're disregarding the most dangerous person in this match, and Io Sky. Like they told the story of it throughout the match of like, and I think the triple threats, just going back to them, like. People said, it's compromiser mania, it's multi-man matches all over the place. I thought the multi-man matches across the weekend killed it. I'll start at Stand and Deliver. Like Javon Evans, Ope-Eh, Trick Williams, so much fun that
Man, we were lucky enough, Marta and I both, shout out camera woman, sit third row for Stand and Deliver.
Oh, wow.
What a phenomenal show
So
that
basically,
was.
Javon Evans pretty much landed in your lap half the time.
Yes.
Like,
He's incredible. 20 years old for him to do what he can, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, well, I was Googling that. I was really depressed because he was like not even born when WrestleMania 20 happened.
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
really a lot to put into perspective. And nothing I care to linger on for too long.
Yeah.
Well, when you mention, that element in a triple threat match, I think of like WrestleMania 30, right?
Yeah.
So you can almost kind of compare it to like Bryan versus Orton and Batista. Now, Orton and Batista obviously being the two company juggernauts, right? The company put a lot behind them, and if you look at it within the context of the women's division, Rhea and Bianca, like they've been even like we're doing commercials for like 2K, right? Like they have teased confrontations, between Rhea and Bianca. They've gone their own way. Like I think like with Cena and Orton developed on their own trajectories through the 2000s, and they never really crossed paths. But now here they are at WrestleMania 41, crossing paths in a triple threat match, mind you. But then, like with Orton and Batista, heading into match 30, you had Daniel Bryan coming in, and everyone knew Bryan was the best in the world for a long, long time. Same with Io Sky. People have been saying that well before she came to WWE. So principally, right, you can't count out Io Sky for the fact that she is just undisputedly one of the best wrestlers, irrespective of his gender, in the entire world.
Cheers to that.
And I think as well, like this is sort of a personification of the shift we've seen in WWE in recent years, and particularly under Triple H in terms of it is no longer, well, we've got a long shot of our favourite's going to win because it's a favourite. The danger is because they're not the right company person, they may well not be, picked by the right sort of people.
Sure.
Nowadays it is based on pure talent. Io Sky, like you say, she's a sensational pro wrestler. Like, would people have, you'd have told them what, a month, 2 months ago, Io Sky leaves WrestleMania with a title? No one would have thought that.
Sure.
We thought Rhea was going to defend it all the way up to WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and like you say, we were going to get there. And we still have that, by the way, the singles match between Rhea and Bianca, and you could do either one of them face or heel or whatever you want to do going forward. But like Io Sky, just an absolute amazing match for a WrestleMania catalog. The Bayley match I really enjoyed last year. Like, I'm really excited to see what happens with her going forward. I'm excited to see when Asuka comes back, when Kairi Sane comes back. Like, what happens with Damage Control? Like, Dakota Kai still hasn't had her moment in WWE, in my opinion.
And all the NXT women's factory,
do not get me
comes
started.
up in
How
the
long
draft.
have you got?
As long as you want.
I honestly, I could talk about NXT all
my
day long.
goodness.
And this isn't just talking about, like, I get it. People want to see Julia, people want to see Jordan Grace, people want to see Stephanie back there. I get that. And they all talent, they all brought into NXT to like mold them in the right WWE mode. But do not overlook the pure talent you have in NXT NXT right now across that women's division. Obviously, Roxanne Perez is probably going up in the next few days, if not. Maybe doing a little something with Stephanie McMahon. Jada Parker. Kalani Jordan is amazing. Sol Ruka.
She was the MVP in that ladder match, I think.
Like Thea Hale, I will back with Thea Hale all day long. She is incredible. You've got so much talent in that division. So really exciting time. I love NXT. But to bring it back to WrestleMania, like, yeah, I thought the opener was really good. I thought they really hit a groove, the sort of opening few matches.
The first 3 matches were just banger. And then you get the surprise, like we were thinking when we were talking for Randy's new opponent, I was thinking Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis, yeah.
My 3 options were Nick Aldis, you had Rusev,
yeah, that was
Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa.
Solo, yeah, Solo was one of those ones where about a week ago I thought it was Solo because he's just a fine guy to put in there to lose.
And
but then when it was a surprise, that doesn't work.
Had a Mania match.
Yeah, someone told me that tonight. I was like, oh, yeah, good point.
But then you get the absolute surprise and a monster pop for Joe Henry.
Yeah.
If I can, WCPW original.
Oh, don't get me started. Like, Joe is... I was with Joe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I did a tour called Switching Disco. Shout out to the guys who run that. Mark Henry was DJing on that. Joe Henry was performing and being a part of that as well. Joe's a guy I've known for many years through WCW, the nicest guy. And I was there with him in Glasgow when I and everybody assumed James needs a mystery partner. It's going to be... And it was his brother again, which is absolutely fine, of course. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's Jimmy, sure.
Yes, that makes sense. But like, I was there with him. He was devastated, I was devastated. There was like meet and greet and every single person was like, where were you? And he's like, it's not my call, I'm not there. And to think that 3-4 weeks later,
and instead he got the biggest moment of his career.
and I was like, they've already, like, they tested the water with the Royal Rumble debut. They knew that fans know Joe Hendry, fans love Joe Hendry. And in terms of like a make good, we talk about this a lot, like how WWE often when something, get well soon to Kevin Owens, when something like that sort of thing happens, they always try and like over deliver. It isn't just going to be, well, we feed a wrestler to, like, Rey Fenix. I don't necessarily agree with him losing, but if you're losing Rey Mysterio, what a great replacement in Rey Fenix. Absolutely. Joe can afford to, like, Rusev was my pick, but even in my own head, I couldn't really justify it.
I mean, I love Rusev, Miro, whatever you want to call him. But
Happy Rusev Day.
Happy Rusev Day,
everyone watching.
But him coming
420 as well, Rusev Day. What a day!
And Easter, don't forget.
Lest we forget, you know.
But him coming in and just immediately, assumingly taking a loss, it would be great. It would not be good.
Owen's going to St. Louis.
And my pick for Nick Aldis, it made sense because story-wise, taking the RKO, he was getting mad. Yeah. You get him in the match. Orton's an old school guy, give them 10, 15 minutes, show Nick Aldis as a wrestler versus GM, and he would have probably shown it. They probably would have had a very, very good match.
And Aldis after that could say, like, you know, you've really impressed me, like, you merit a title shot, whatever you want to do with that.
But having Joe Hendry come out, Brandon is our TNA expert.
I'm the resident TNA
TNA there.
So I mean, having seen Joe Hendry at Unbreakable, and you know he's been touting his shoulder injury and all that too, I wouldn't have suspected him to be at WrestleMania. I mean, clearly he's always a happy guy, right? Like I saw him at WrestleCon too, took a picture with him, very gracious guy. You know, I've been watching him since, you were talking about WCPW, I've been watching him since ICW. That was my experience when he was affiliated with James R. Kennedy. And,
James R. Kennedy.
So, I mean, it's been great. And I told him too, I was like, you came a long, long way from ICW, man. Like from seeing him 10 years ago singing Christmas songs, you know, to the theme of his own tune, you know. And
True Abadia would die.
He had something for everybody. Jack Jester. Jack Jester was my favorite one.
He played that in Glasgow. Jack Jester.
Yeah, that was a great one. But I did not expect Joe Hendry. I probably should have. I mean, right? Anytime they place any show, right?
And I really
he said it himself, but
I like the way that they did it. Like the way they did it. Like I get it. He's TNA World Champion. And
yes.
Unfortunately, yes, it's Randy Orton. Like, and it's not like he's got it
First ballot Hall of Famer. Like, you kind of have to expect that.
RKO out of nowhere. You could just hit
after
it
the turn.
Right? Yeah. Of all things.
3 minutes. pops the crowd, does what it needs to do.
Well, think of where Joe Hendry's station is too. He's the TNA World Champion for the first time. It's still surreal to me because I've been a fan of TNA since its early days. And to see the TNA World Champion representing TNA in a WrestleMania match against a 14-time WWE World Champion in Randy Orton, that's mind-blowing.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Amazing.
I'm sure it was mind-blowing to him as well.
I was making my notes for our What Went Down show. I forgot to make any notes. I was just so buzzed to see Joe.
Right? Oh yeah.
And then I was like, he did the turn and got RKO'd at the end, and then he gets RKO'd again, but then no one does the turn.
That's
That's a perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what a great compliment to Joe, though, too, because I mean, you look at how organically Joe's gotten over, and
he's been working so hard.
absolutely.
Been lucky enough to work with him for over the years, and Miller talks about him giving him advice when he was coming up through the business as well.
I was lucky enough to go to the Rumble.
Amazing.
I'll show you a picture. My buddy did Cena cosplay.
Brilliant.
And I got in line for Joe. Joe and the Hardys had the longest lines there. Besides, I think Sting. No offense to the Hardys or Joe, Sting is Sting.
Sting is Sting.
But I talked to him and I was like, I've been watching you since WCW. And I told him, like, I'm so happy for all your deserved success. Because he's been doing the same thing forever. And it's just incredible to see where he is. And now that he's got a WrestleMania moment, it's well deserved.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed that. I thought, like you say, you had the Orton match, you had the opener, you had Dom. I said this, we recorded what went down outside the Allegiant afterwards. Genuinely, I think Dom winning the IC title might have got a bigger pop than Jay Uso in the World Heavyweight title.
I'd agree with that.
And it's such a one, because I was lucky enough to be there when he fought his deadbeat dad, and I thought it was an amazing entrance. I thought arguably he should have won that match, but I was like, lovely moment. He's a great wrestler. This is kind of it for him. And then he does the Judgment Day stuff, and you're like, okay, this is kind of it for him. And then he does the whole Rhea stuff and then the Liv stuff. Okay, this is the highest it's gonna get. Where's the IC title? There's a babyface turn there coming forward. They're going to have, I think, the whole reason, and I wasn't a huge fan of the match, Karrion Kross aside, love Karrion Kross. The reason they had Logan Paul win on WrestleMania, and I think Dirty Dom versus Logan Paul may be the direction they eventually head towards. If anyone turns babyface, it's in a match against Logan Paul, who's despised by everyone.
They've already set the footprints for that, though. I wouldn't be surprised at Backlash to see Dominic versus Finn Balor as a way to initiate then transition and then even further it in a match with Logan Paul or other heels on the brand, because that pop was one of the most surprising moments associated to the whole weekend.
No, I really enjoyed that.
And Tom has earned his success. And I mean, he's a WWE man for 20 years. I was always on the proponent that they first liberated match at SummerSlam today. And custody of Down Ladder match part 2.
I agree.
Because it's right there. But I mean, him hitting Finn, you got your immediate story there. You still have Penta, you have Braun right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's so much story to go off from there.
I think one of the big things I take from this year's WrestleMania is not just the new champions, i.e. Dom, i.e. Jey Uso, something like that. Where does certain people go from here? Gunther, Charlotte Flair, really enjoyed weirdly, probably not the way I was supposed to, but really enjoyed that match. Just a mess.
I think there was a little shooting in that match.
Oh yeah. But where do they go from here? Where does Cody Rhodes go from here? Where does Penta? Where does Bron Breakker? It frees a lot of people up, and it's fascinating.
And to go to the next match, where does Bayley go? Because she was taken out of the match, and if they have a plan for her, great. I'm Team Bayley. I hope she should have gotten the match, but I understand bringing Becky in for the Irish connection.
And I also think that there was a bit of discourse about this yesterday when the whole thing broke, and I think a lot of people are very sort of short-sighted in terms of what they look at. Because they saw that and they said, "Oh man, they're doing this, they're doing selling Bailey short, basically. And I thought, well, hang on a second. Bailey won the world title last year's WrestleMania. They clearly like Bailey. They have, you know, she had a ridiculously good match with Lyra Valkyria recently.
Yes.
I hate to be that guy who just, whoa, let it play out. But genuinely let it play out here because of the fascination. Like, Lyra and Becky as tag champs is fun. It'll be fun for a while. They'll drop it, not too long. By the way, you've got Becky and Lyra Valkyria going to NXT on Tuesday now to face Tatum Paxley, Transition Only, which is a great match. Tatum with a history with Lyra as well. Like Becky going back to NXT, that's cool. So you've got that side of things. But if you're a Bailey fan, I get it. But I think it's a part of the bigger storyline, genuinely. I don't think it's them, like, clearly not injured from what I've read. So it's part of a storyline where I think they're going to say, Bailey's going to turn around to Lyra and say, you literally dropped me like that.
You get the Lyra heel turn or you get the Becky heel turn.
Yeah. Or the Bailey heel turn.
Or the Bailey heel turn too.
Any and all of those things could be an option, right?
And I'm all for it. And we'll jump to the main event. Cena wins 17. I've been on I don't know if you know, WWE.com. Everything says Universal title's still active. Sometimes it's 18. And I think they fully retired the Universal title now. 17.
Everyone chanted 17.
Yeah, well, it's certainly not the 18th reign for anybody that listens to the podcast.
Yeah, purist.
I can't help that WWE.com, which is the historical for WWE, has not retired the Universal title yet. That's not on me, that's on WWE.
Yeah, technically Charlotte's.com is NXT as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so we can't really count on that. No, everyone was chanting 17. It's 17.
So, I mean, the match, it wasn't the best match, but she did what it needed to do.
Yeah, I agree. I wore this shirt for a reason. I was hoping for Dwayne to make an appearance, but I think, it was weird in terms of like Travis Scott being the one to be influential in the match.
I mean, it makes sense from a storyline perspective. You don't get The Rock. I understand he's busier than shit. He's The Rock. He's a massive Hollywood movie star. So Cena's opening, and Cena made sure to take time to do this final run.
I mean, I can see that you're disappointed. I can see that our recorder is disappointed. She got dressed up with the brown whole fit. You know, like
it felt like it was playing out that way as well. Like we've seen this in recent. Well, we saw a little bit in night one, but certainly main event of night 2 last year. I love that kind of stuff. I know it's not for everybody, as I say, but it felt like it was going to be. Maybe not Stone Cold getting involved because you literally just had about there through the attendance and crashing ATV.
We're getting involved.
Somebody, don't forget that.
Yeah. Stone Cold got paid for that announcement of the attendance.
But I thought, I was literally saying to Adam Nicholas who I sat with, like, where's the ref? And they do the bump, they do the exposed turnbuckle stuff, they do another ref, reason for the ref to be taken out, Travis Scott coming out and yanking him out of the ring. And I thought, okay, we're going to do some more schmoz.
Right, I saw your tweets where you're like, alright, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's Travis Scott. It's like, it makes sense storyline-wise, but it's not the greatest ending. I mean, night 1's main event over night 2, I think we're all on.
No question.
So, as far as the night show go, what would you rate it as far as like a 1 out of 10?
What should we get? 10 is the best?
10 is the greatest show you've ever seen, and 1 is like.
1 is ECW, the 7 is
Okay. I'll go 7, buddy. Like, I enjoyed it. 7, 7.5 maybe.
So going off that, what was your night 1 rating?
I mean, as we head into the sort of main event time, 5. And then I'll go overall. I'll go 7.5 night 2, 7 night 1, which was vastly brought up by
Main event. Absolutely fucking fair.
Yeah. Like I've been very lucky to be in attendance for like WrestleMania 39. The conclusion to WrestleMania 40 was just like everything I wanted. I got to see The Rock. Night 1 of WrestleMania 40. Like that was like a dream come true. So it's one of those ones I think Miller sort of nailed it with his ups and downs video that he did.
Shout out to Simon.
Shout out
Just
to
did
Simon.
an interview with him, watching
well worth checking out, by the way. And he mentioned it. He's like, this isn't a WrestleMania you're going to go back, and sit and just put on and watch the whole thing either night. But there are matches and moments across both nights. And I think that's what sticks with fans, that that's gonna stay with you for a long time. Like being there for that main event of night one was amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
AJ Styles said in his interview with Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah,
people remember the moments. You're
agree.
gonna remember 17. You're not gonna remember the whole match. You might remember Cody kicking out of the top rope. You're gonna remember Travis Scott coming out. You're gonna remember EO retaining. You're not gonna remember the whole match.
Yeah.
There are a couple matches where you're gonna be like, I can remember this, that, and the other. But when it comes to WrestleMania, you're gonna remember the moments.
Yeah.
And WrestleMania moments, it's a cliche, but it's a real thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's one of those things. Like in the build to WrestleMania this year, I didn't sit back and watch WrestleMania's beginning to end. But did I watch the opener to night one of WrestleMania 40, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk for Dave Lewis? It's like, let's go, I'm in the mood for WrestleMania again. I'll be the exact same time, or exact same thing for this time next year with WrestleMania 42.
Absolutely. Well, Pierce, from Vegas, we gotta do what we gotta do. Send us home, brother.
Well, Adam, we thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for the beer, I appreciate it.
Oh, we're gonna have a few more, man.
I'm all out.
Oh, you need
We're getting you more soon.
I'll do it in spirit.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few more beers. My buddy Adam, check out Whatculture Wrestling. They've been around forever. They do great stuff. As always, thanks for stopping to the Ope-Eh 3-Way. Have a beer on us.
We'll see you next time.